Alright, I just wanted to say I'm back. I haven't done a Project Spark video in a while. I've been kind of busy and trying to figure out how I want to take my level to the next step, which brings me to why it's called Kuro Abandoned, and I'll put that in the description later on once I post this. So basically what has happened is, I reached the land cap pretty much as I could. I went to an earlier version to publish to give people something to work with. I was at the object cap 2, and so I wanted to draw back and give people just some room to work with. You could probably lay down some land. There's a couple of things you could hollow out. This mountain's pretty much hollow as it is. I could scrape out some, but even some of the stuff that's inside of the mountain that you can't see here is actually terrain or part of the actual map. So a lot of stuff can't be deleted, although it might look like it can. You might be able to scrape a few pieces out of some places and another, but yeah, I created a sort of staging area for a boss and some NPCs that I was going to fill the maze with. I started working on the maze, putting a whole bunch of effects and torches and lights in there, and then I was going to cover it up. But much to my surprise, after all the stuff I've added, apparently I have started to have some issues with the effects, probably due to the amount of objects or due to the amount of effects that are in the game. So when I load in, a lot of the waterfalls won't work, or some of the effects just aren't functioning quite properly. And so basically what I've tried to think of so far is, well, I'll publish it for now, I'll let people remix it. Maybe somebody out there will figure out a way and complete it, and that's fine. I'd be happy with that. I'd like to see it go somewhere. I kind of lost patience with it since I was just having some problems getting stuff to work. Maybe if Team Dakota gets around to addressing some of the effects issues, unless that's something that's been instituted to keep the game to keep the game running properly. So I noticed a couple things when I was adding all the effects to the maze and general other areas, is that I had so many effects or so many different things going on that I was actually starting to lag, and actually for some reason it's lagging a little bit right now, which isn't really common, although I guess it kind of does lag at the beginning of the game. Some of the cameras need to be done. There's a lot that needs to be done, but I just put it out there because I was like, you know what, I'm kind of losing interest and I might move on to something else. Yeah, so some of the stuff was lagging. Somebody suggested, well, you could put all of the torches in the maze to activate as you come closer to them, and I was like, well, that's a great idea, but considering that most of the stuff that's in the actual level right now doesn't function to begin with, I'm kind of timid to do any of that. I was like, I could do the same for a lot of these fire effects here, but I was having a problem with all the stuff in the main area here. So it was kind of an unavoidable problem, because this stuff here is visible almost, well, it's visible for a good amount of time, and putting a distance cap on that for all that shit to be detected would be fairly pointless, especially considering how many different effects make up the waterfall on the left, and the waterfall on the right seems to be malfunctioning even in edit mode. Maybe I should go back and put that in or something, but I've seen it work in non-edit mode. I don't know. That's weird. I really just noticed that. So there's a lot to be done. I I got the boat working. Some of the brain stuff I changed so that I could edit more quickly. Like the timer just throws me over there instantly instead of it being like a 70-second timer waiting for a camera to do an aerial around the area to show all of the stuff in a cinematic and, you know, be kind of stylistic-ish. I put in some decorations like these two stone guys here for the boat to go through. That looks kind of cool. And I was going to have one boss in the castle here, and I was going to have one boss up here right before the end of the level where you reach the top of the mountain. So it's, and you have to like rescue the king or the princess or something in here. So it's very Mario-esque in that kind of idea. And there's the fire caves, which is an idea I sort of came up with. There's actually more terrain under the maze that leads and goes through some tunnels and some other shit, and then eventually leads up here into the fire caves. And then you sort of have to make your way across without dying. So that's what I mean by a ton of effects. And once you take them out, you start to. I was like, oh, I'll take some of the fire effects stuff out, and then I was like, well, now there's a big gap in all that, and you know you can exploit that, or you know it makes it a little bit more difficult, or it just doesn't look the way I want it. You know, I was thinking about putting a quest in there in the center, and so the person would have to sort of dodge around fire in order to talk to the person in the quest, but that was still kind of a work in progress. And then this sort of snakes around to the front of the mountain where I was going to put effects and stuff like that, and snakes around to the front of the mountain like over here, and then it goes, I was going to put in effects in a whole bunch of collision meshes that would be invisible so that people couldn't cheat their way to the top. And then they go through here. Actually, this ring was supposed to be deleted, and I was going to put that checkpoint somewhere else because, well, I mean, if there's a boss here, it wouldn't be a bad idea. And then eventually this would just sort of snake around to the top, and there would be mountains covering this. And this is where I was saying I don't have the terrain. If you just look over here, it's capped. And I've eradicated most of it. I mean, I could take a second pass at this maze, which is just insane complicated. I even get lost. I have to cheat. And then the boss that was going to be in here, I hadn't decided exactly how I wanted it to work. There's some of the mechanics on the boss over in the testing area not working correctly at all, because I wanted the ads to be sort of these rock creatures or some other creatures I created. But when you try to spawn something with a lot of attachments off of another object, or when you try to spawn off another object or an NPC, it just ends up launching into the air because I guess it has something to do with the way things are attached. And then so it doesn't really have time to attack you because it's just going somewhere else. So I mean, I could do it with goblins, but I don't like, or at least I try to avoid using standard objects because I try to make the game as little like it actually is, because you know I want it to look as original as possible, and I don't want to use. Typically, I don't want to use the character models that are provided, which is something else that I was brought to. The more and more that I tried to work with this game, I realized that the squirrel was not going to work, and I had to switch over to this guy here. I slowed down the sprint because it was getting insane. I don't want those NPCs to attack me. Yeah, the squirrel was not going to work for many purposes that I had seen. So I had to switch over to this guy. Some of the squirrel mechanics are still in there. He still throws acorns. I was going to change that to fire or something. And I was going to change this whole design so he didn't look like he does now. And so Um, these guys I had been experimenting with and doing different things. Basically what happens here is the back row are healers, the front guys are casters, and they cast a shield that protects the boss. That's code's not entirely done, and then once the shield is down, the boss attacks you. And each of these guys were supposed to take over healing or split their healing abilities over the casters once you destroyed one. So basically you were supposed to kill all of the healers and then kill all of the casters, and every time you kill a caster, essentially what would happen is every time you kill a caster, you'd have an NPC spawn to attack you. So you'd have an ad, then you had to deal with the ad. Or actually it would spawn 2 ads. See, and if I'm trying to kill him just alone, it's hard because he keeps getting healed. Now he's back to full health. So, but the way it's set up now, if I kill his healer, then I can see how he's doing. So he should be okay now. Although the way it was supposed to be intentionally created is that he was supposed to be healed by the other guys as well. Eventually, someone would take over. But that didn't get finished up. I was gonna work on that, but once I saw that a lot of the effects weren't working, like if you look over at the castle there, only one of the waterfalls are working. Only half of the waterfalls are working there. If I placed any more effects, those wouldn't be functioning. A couple of the effects on the internal parts of the mountain aren't working, just due to various reasons. And that's why I said it. It's abandoned for the time being, unless I want to fix it up. And then I'll be able to deal with it. Hopefully, Team Dakota can get around to fixing some of this stuff. I don't know why that guy didn't spawn the ads. Maybe I messed with the code or something. This second guy should spawn ads, but it'll be the original code that I set up for that. Or actually, somebody I worked with named... Holy shit, it worked! Holy shit, it worked. Anyway, I don't know. It didn't usually work. But to be honest, I had it work sometimes when they would spawn on me. But I didn't want them to spawn on me because that would be too much damage to take instantaneously in order for you to respond in the given time. I kind of wanted them to spawn all over, at like logic cubes, but that didn't work out because they just go flying. Actually, somebody in the community, Mac is back, was working on this for a little bit, and I remixed that, or I took some of that, but I did a lot of work on it. But when I saw that it didn't see, there they are. Oh, yeah, now I'm like lagging hardcore. I don't know why. But these guys are gonna kill me. See, and that's what I mean. There's a lot of problems with this. I have a GTX 580 and i7 and 12 gigs of RAM, and this is lagging. I mean, the 580 maybe by today's standards isn't wonderful, but the thing is, it should be able to handle this because the minimum requirements for this game are an Intel 4000. See, and now that they hit the boss is flying over there. And these guys are gonna kill me. Well, probably. Maybe not. Maybe not. Okay. Yeah, and I also needed to add some sort of life regeneration mechanic. I was thinking maybe the coins would do that. But so that's the main problem I'm looking at right now. These guys I wanted them to spawn their dudes somewhere else. As you saw, the second they spawned on me, it was kind of a problem. I was having trouble trying to figure out how to deal with that. And these two NPCs over here, I was working on making them like the king and queen or something, and one of them would sit in the castle, and the other one would have to be like rescued up in that other chamber by the other boss, which I had not begun work on. And then I created some NPCs here. One of them isn't programmed yet. This tree, I had this idea for a tree boss, and I was like, I just was like, I'll see if I can make it work. Or tree NPC, and I was like, I'll see if I make it work. And every time I look at it, it just makes me like chuckle because it just looks so silly when it's running towards you. I mean, and then this fire boss, I had not seen anyone create a fire boss that I thought was recognizably a human type thing, but I think the fireball's his hands and the head sort of works. But I mean, just looking at the due to the lag factor, due to the amount of effects and lack of the effects working, it sort of made me give up for the time being. And yeah, I was also gonna have a quest or two. I can hear an NPC following me. I was gonna add some effects to a couple of the NPCs. I wanted a shockwave on the rock guy, but I never got around to that. I was gonna add some fire launching to the fire guy. There's fire launching on the other dude who's what's his name? Oh, well, you didn't see him. He's I was gonna throw him as a fire warden in the caves of fire. See, look how badly I'm lagging. Ugh. And I mean, this really isn't that intensive of a game. And the thing is, sometimes it lags, sometimes it doesn't. So, here's the one side of the fire caves. Whoa, guess I was too close. That's one side of the fire caves. You won't be able to get in there from the maze, and it's just sort of a cheat your way in right now. Damn, I really wonder why I am lagging so bad. There's no reason for it. But yeah, let me see if I can get down to the dock area below here where the boat is. And that'll pretty much show the progress. And like I said, you guys can download this and that'd be great. I redid, oh yeah, I can do this. Hold on. I forgot that I put in a temporary door to get me to the boat on the other side because I just hated having to move the logic cube that spawns the template. I have a red logic cube. For anybody that downloads this, I have a red logic cube that helps spawn the template. And the reason that I did that is because I wanted a template. I wanted a template spawner so I could put another logic cube that's green at each one of these points. Looks like I need to fix some stuff there. Each one of these points. Yeah, that's another camera that needs to be fixed, and some other stuff, some UI stuff. But I thought it would make a cool entry with that music and whatnot. And some of this needs to be cleaned up here. This is all brand new since the last video as well. This needs to be sort of made up so it looks a little bit less primitive. And here I created the Iron Throne from Game of Thrones because why not? So that was kind of fun. It took me a while. I did that in some spare time while I was trying to figure out solutions to other problems I had, which I did eventually solve. And so here's this. I think you guys have seen all this. there's a mapping bug right here that I forgot to deal with. I accidentally deleted something. I mean, there's lots to be fixed, and I was probably gonna go back and redo a lot of that area. So here we are. We're almost to the other side, and then I'll be able to show you what I put under. Okay. So basically, this is a quick cinematic, and he's like, "Yo, come back to me when," or maybe he's not like, "Yo, come back to me." The last time I checked, that did work. I don't know why it doesn't now. We'll just pretend like it did. Um, I might go back and fix that and no, I'm not gonna republish it, but I'll fix it for myself. It's not. It's an easy fix. It's an easy fix. For some reason, there's a command line that didn't re-enable the brain or something, is my guess. Okay, so now I'm back. I'm on the other side where the boat would drop me. There'd be the boat would. He'd tell the captain to deploy. There'd be a cinematic that would sort of follow the boat and do a spin around and look at the entire area, which is a big part of why I want the effects to work, because it would just show all the beauty of what was created there and waterfalls and whatnot. And then you'd just end up in this area, and there are several effects in here that were supposed to work. And as you can hear, I added a music cue for that. There's some coins, one of which is missing. And so, you know, this area was designed to be really beautiful, but it's not functioning either, which is, you know, just also very disheartening. And so now we're on our way to where I showed you before. This also needs fixing. These are minor things. See, these are working torches. There's going to be some NPCs in here. Some of those fire warden guys who are here to keep the flames or whatever. I don't know. Oh. Looks like I'm too tall. I might be too tall. I may have to republish this. Yeah, let's go back out. And here's what I'm going to show you. I'm going to show you how the what the fuck? Okay. I'll shrink myself down a bit again. That may have still only been like 100% size, I don't know. So yeah, I'll republish this. I don't know, people might stop watching by now, but if you're still watching, cool. Okay, so essentially go up here. Like I said, there'd be NPCs in here. Some of these torches are actually functioning, which surprises me. And now you're sort of entering the fire cave area, which was this is actually a earlier version, I think. No, because before this was really hard to land on, so I made it easier to land on. And this is actually quite annoying if you haven't done that before. It's very easy to die. And this area here was eventually all going to be covered up and filled with NPCs and designed and whatnot. You know, I'm just, if anybody wants to do this, that's fine. That would be cool. I guess I wasn't coming out where I thought I was. Okay. That's not where I thought I was going, but you know, maybe snow effects or something like that start to appear here. And then you're entering one of the final chambers. There's a cage where someone would have been kept. This would be a boss area. And, you know, overlooking the fire caves, at least some of it. Some of it would be blocked up by now, and then, you know, some unsuspecting... might have to make myself bigger. It's just so hard to figure out the right size for this map because, you know, you have all the internal cave stuff, so you want someone who's able to fit in there, but then you can't use up too much space, and you also have to accommodate. It's just it's really difficult to find a balance. And so, you know, somebody's like, oh, look, this is on top of the fire caves, like, let's look. And then they're like, oh, fuck, that was a bad idea. So, that's sort of where I'm at. I might give this a touch up and then throw it back out in a bit. But that's essentially the level. Once you have all the NPCs and stuff in, you know, I'd say it's going to take a person a lot more time to deal with. So, yeah. And that's it, and I'll throw it up, and you guys can look at it eventually. Alright. Thanks, and if you want, subscribe. But I'm trying to figure out what I should do next, and I'm also trying to see if I have the patience or willpower to play this after putting so many hours into a project that may or may not be completed in the end. But I really just wanted to throw it up so people could have the experience of enjoying it, remixing, or whatever you want to do with it, because I feel like there's a lot of artwork you can take out of here, like some of the NPCs or the Iron Throne, or maybe figure out a way to get the castle out of here. You know, there's a lot of stuff that you could just grab and, you know, use for yourself, because the level's not done. So, alright, I think that's it. So, thanks for watching.